Lang Pumakan, life is bittersweet. Lang Pumakan, support is just a dream, but we stay living, chasing after cream. I'm talking plotting schemes, chasing after this. Come on! Yo, what's good? It's your boy Signature. Welcome back to another video. Now in today's video, I want to show you how to turn a one vocal take session into a professional sounding song. Okay, let's get to it. All right, so shout out to the subscriber that I'm gonna link into the screen somewhere here, because you are the inspiration of today's video. Let's press play. Lang Pumakan, life is bittersweet. Lang Pumakan, support is just a dream, but we stay living, chasing after cream. I'm talking plotting schemes, chasing after this, yeah. Lang Pumakan, life is bittersweet. Lang Pumakan, support is just a dream, but we stay living, chasing after cream. I'm talking plotting schemes, chasing after this, yeah. Beautiful sounding song. Very nice emotion and vibe. I like it. I love it, in fact. But you can hear how thin and not full of life the vocal is, right? So it lacks presence. It doesn't really poke out of the mix as it should. So let me turn back all of the effects and listen to the overall difference. Okay? Listen to this. Lang Pumakan, life is bittersweet. Lang Pumakan, support is just a dream, but we stay living, chasing after cream. I'm talking plotting schemes, chasing after this, yeah. Lang Pumakan, life is bittersweet. Lang Pumakan, support is just a dream, but we stay living, chasing after cream. I'm talking plotting schemes, chasing after this, yeah. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So now, let's go through how I went about mixing the vocal. So the first plugin into the vocal chain before we get to the reverbs is a noise gate. Now I chose the trusted forever favorite FL limiter, and I'm not really compressing anything, so I'm not using the compressor section of it, nor am I even using the limiter section of it. Okay, I only have the ceiling set at -1 dB just for safety precautions. Other than that, I'm really using this noise gate session because the vocal recording has a bit of background noise to it. So I'm sort of trying to trim that down to get it as clean as possible before I really get to the nitty gritties and really getting surgical with the processing. Okay. And then I added a de-esser to take care of those S's. So here, plotting schemes, like the word schemes, right? I want to see the de-esser reacting somewhere there. Plotting schemes, plotting schemes, chasing after this, yeah. Lang Pumakan, plotting schemes, chasing after this, yeah. There we go. That's pretty much all that I'm doing. You can see the frequency here. Nothing special with this. This is where I actually start correcting and sort of toning the vocal a bit. I have a high pass filter here at 82.5 hertz. I'm cutting everything from 82.5 hertz going down. I don't need that. It's not necessary for the mix. And then after that, I have a bell cut here at 170 hertz. I'm not taking a lot. This for me is a very transparent EQ. So you do a lot by very subtle moves. Okay, as you can see here, I'm notching down -0.56 dB. Let me just pull it up and exaggerate it so you can hear what frequency am I taking out. Okay. Lang Pumakan, life is bittersweet. Lang Pumakan, support is just a dream, but we stay live. So it's that sort of boxy vocal, or rather boxy frequency is what I'm taking out of the vocal, because it's really just muddying the overall mix and it's making the vocal sound too boxy. Okay. And then to sort of compensate for what I took out, I went to those upper mids around 3.2 kilohertz. I'm gonna over exaggerate it for you so you hear what I was boosting. just to give the vocal, to make it sit a bit more easily up front and sound a bit more present. Lang Pumakan, life is bittersweet. Lang Pumakan, support is just a dream, but we stay living, chasing. Right. So you can hear that, of course, I'm over exaggerating it here, but you can hear that the more I pull it up, it starts sounding a bit sort of harsh, right? So this goes to say, really be careful with how much you boost. That's why I only have it boosted up to a dB, because in very small doses, it sounds very beautiful in the context of the mix. That's pretty much all I did with the EQ, and that's it. This is a plugin from Fuse Audio Labs called Flywheel. Now, this is a tape emulation plugin, and really what I'm using it for is because with digital recording, there tends to be this digital harshness that you really cannot separate to your recordings. So it's a very subtle way of removing that high or top end digital harshness that I wouldn't be able to achieve using just a typical EQ. So this does it in a more so analog fashion, okay? Let's press play. Lang Pumakan, life is bittersweet. Lang Pumakan, support is just a dream, but we stay living, chasing after cream. I'm talking plotting schemes, chasing up. So you can hear that as I pull it back, it gives that sort of closed in with a blanket type of vibe, but it does it in a way that a typical EQ wouldn't, because it's not too aggressive with it, okay? So you don't want to overdo this, of course, hence I'm only applying it like 70%. And then for the tape speed, I'm using a low speed, which here is 15 EPS or 15 IPS. Okay, so after this, I go to a compressor because I want to sort of have this more constant. Already you can hear the vocal before I put the EQ that it's not a vocal that has like too much spikes or out of the blue spikes. It's a consistent recording, but just for safety precaution, I'm putting this compressor. And my rule with the compressor is once you hear it working, if you can hear what it's doing, you're probably compressing too much. So you need to dial it back. Listen to how upfront and present the vocal moves as I turn on the compressor. Okay, let's start with it off. Lang Pumakan, life is bittersweet. Lang Pumakan, support is just a dream, but we stay living, chasing after cream. I'm talking beautiful. So I have my threshold here, very, very, very fast attack, because I needed to really capture those transients as quick as possible. Although I'm doing a very soft ratio 2:1 with getting a gain reduction of around 3 dB gain. I'm happy with that. The release, I have it at 50, and that's pretty much it, okay? And then after that, I have the EQ. With the EQ, again, here, I'm only doing one thing. I'm taking out that boxiness out of the vocal. Remember, I did this step with the first EQ, but I wanted to remove some of that chest tone to the vocal. Let's play, and I'm gonna over-exaggerate the frequency so you can hear that. Lang Pumakan, life is bittersweet. Lang Pumakan, support is just a dream, but we stay living. So I'm taking out that, just safely taming the vocal, and that's it. Then lastly, just to, again, for safety precaution, I'm taking out the S's and T's again, because with the compression, you sometimes risk bringing back some of those unwanted frequencies. Just to be safe, I'm putting one last de-esser on the chain. And then now to the meat of the video, right? Because I already explained the vibe that I'm looking for in terms of space, I want to give you short reverb and a long. The purpose of the short reverb is to emulate a sort of room space and just to butt up the vocal and give it a bit more body to it. So it just to sort of be around the vocal. It's a reverb that you're not really supposed to hear, but more so feel, okay? So to calculate reverb, to answer this question here on the screen, I have two ways, okay? So I've prepared on the description for you to download. So with the short reverb, the aim is to sort of have it around the vocal to sort of smoothen the vocal, okay? It's a reverb that you're not really supposed to hear, but more so feel, right? Like when you take it out, you're gonna feel that something is missing, but when it's on, you're just gonna feel the vocal sounding more warmer and not really know why it's sounding like that. So I have on the screen here an already prepared reverb time calculator. So what you do, you come here to this blue box just next to song BPM and you type in the BPM of your song, whether it's 150, it will give you the pre-delays and delay times. In our case, it's 86, right? And then for 86, then you can see why here I have a decay of 0.44 seconds. For a room reverb, I never prefer to go above 1 second. So I'm always looking to stay at the decimal points of 0 point something time. Anything above a second for a room reverb tends to be too much. Okay? Hence here I have a 0.44 seconds. Then for the pre-delay, I have 44 seconds. Where I'm getting these times again is here. You can see with the Excel sheet here. For the 0.44, I'm basically choosing a 1/64th note, right? So this is my pre-delay, and this is my decay time. Now to then move, because here I'm not really doing much. I guess what you can also add is having a high cut, because reverb tends to sound not so nice when you have too much high end. Hence, I have a high cut here. And you can also come as well, have a high pass filter. Anything from 500 and below is not really necessary for reverb, so cut that. You can copy the settings if you want, that's it. Then I have a long reverb. With the long reverb, the aim is to create a very huge chorus space, sort of a hall/stadium type of space. Now, with this, you can see that I've changed the decay time. The decay time here, instead of using the one of the 1/64th note, I chose to go to the 1/16th note, right? Which is 1.74. So I just rounded that one off here, but pretty much same, right? Kept the pre-delay the same, right? And then again, like I told you, you can then maybe come here, change the low cut, but I prefer to just use an EQ. So when it comes to like large reverb sends, I like to have an that's taking out everything. You can see here, I'm taking out everything from 600 below. I'm taking out, I'm also sort of having a slight soft curve, cutting out the treble or the high frequencies, just sort of smoother them out. Then whatever comes through from this EQ then goes to the reverb, right? Preview those two things for you. Listen properly. Let's start with the short reverb. Gonna over exaggerate it. Life is bittersweet. Right? So how you balance it, because I was also asked, how do I know the right amount or the right perfect / good percentage of a mix to send? There isn't a perfect one, but all I can say maybe as a guideline is with the room reverb, have it at 0, close your eyes, and as you play the vocal, right? As you play the vocal soloed for this one, okay? You can solo the vocal for this one to hear it clearly. The aim is once you start hearing the vocals sit in the room that you've created, the reverb, stop there, okay? Lang Pumakan, life is bittersweet. Lang Pumakan, support is just a dream, but we stay living, chasing after cream. I'm talking plot and schemes, chasing after this, yeah. Lang Pumakan, life is bittersweet. Lang Pumakan, support is just a dream, but we stay living, chasing up. That's good enough for me. Remember, I told you with this reverb, the short reverb, you are not supposed to really hear it, but more so feel it. Okay? Then I'm gonna turn it off and come to the long reverb. For the long reverb now, you really need to focus more so on the end phrases of your song. So listen really for the tail. Okay. So listen for the gaps in between where there are silences. Listen to how the tail lingers on until the next phrase. That's how you need to balance the mix. So again, we do the same thing here. Close our eyes, press play. Lang Pumakan, life is bittersweet. Lang Pumakan, support is just a dream, but we stay living, chasing after cream. I'm talking plot and schemes, chasing after this, yeah. Lang Pumakan, life is bittersweet. Lang Pumakan. So I can hear it sort of kissing those last phrases lingering on, right? Perfect for me. Then now what you can do is play the song and listen to the effects in context to the mix. Let's press play. Lang Pumakan, life is bittersweet. Lang Pumakan, support is just a dream, but we stay living, chasing. You see how when you solo the vocal, the reverb sounds like it's too much, but in the context of the mix, you can hear how the reverb just comes where it's needed. The long reverb comes, you can hear the presence of it towards those empty spaces between the vocal, and then the body that the short reverb is sort of putting around the vocal is just sitting perfectly. Moving on to this last effect of adding depth to the vocal. I've shared this before, but I'm going to further explain it again here so you can understand the importance and the vital magic that it brings to the vocal, okay? Now, this is the effect I'm talking about. Let me over-exaggerate it as the song plays. Pay attention. Lang Pumakan, life is bittersweet. Lang Pumakan, support is just a dream, but we stay living, chasing after cream. I'm talking plot and... Right, because here we are dealing with a single vocal take, the aim is to sort of create an artificial double or artificial copy of the vocal without creating any phase, right? And this just achieves that, okay? It creates that double copy, lower octave to sort of add that extra body and warmth to the vocal without creating any phase, but also allowing for that chorusy feel, okay? So how I go about achieving that, I have little radiator here. This is sort of like an amp or a preamp plugin, and I'm just really pushing out the heat knob here, and that's it. And then I have a little altar boy here. This is where a bulk of the magic happens. I pitch it full on 12 semitones down, minus 12 semitones, and I just mess with the format here to give us that sort of robotic low end vocal that we cannot really be able to emulate or record with our natural voice, okay? After that, I move on to Microshift. Microshift, in short, is a chorus effect plugin. So I'm sort of doubling that and creating that sort of chorusy feel. And that's pretty much it here. And then with the EQ, I'm cutting the low mids going down. Anything from around 350 hertz, I'm cutting down, okay? And then anything above 3.5K, I'm cutting off, right? So I need really the mids, right? I need the mids and the high mids to be the only present frequencies in this chain. So that's what I'm doing here. And then lastly, I have another hidden gem of a plugin from Nugen Audio. It's called Nugen Stereo Placer, okay? So with this, you can pretty much isolate the frequencies in terms of panning. You can tell the plugin that I want you to sort of pan the low frequencies to the left and the mid frequencies to the right. You can play with it however you want, okay? So the beauty of it is you can pretty much create a lot of bands and just go crazy with the plugin. Sorry for that. Now here, I'm taking anything from 100 all the way to around 600, 700, 800 hertz, and I'm panning all of that to the right. Then I'm also taking anything from that 800 and above, all those high frequency, I'm panning the left, right? I'm doing that to sort of create even more separation such that when this effect is mixed to the lead vocal, they do not clash, they do not fight for space in the frequency spectrum. Okay, that's it. Now let's hear it to the context of the mix, because I'm pretty sure that before you were not picking it up, but now that I've broken it down, you are definitely gonna pick it up as the song plays. Play. Lang Pumakan, life is bittersweet. Lang Pumakan. Again, like we did with the reverb, we're gonna close our eyes and let the song play. As the song plays, we bring up the effect to until we can just barely hear it. Then that's where we stop. Okay? Press play. Closing our eyes, we start pulling up the mix level. Lang Pumakan, life is bittersweet. Lang Pumakan, support is just a dream, but we stay living, chasing after cream. I'm talking plot. I can already hear it, okay? Perfect with it. Listen to the difference. I'm gonna turn it on and off. Lang Pumakan, life is bittersweet. Lang Pumakan, support is just a dream, but we stay living, chasing after cream. I'm talking. Listen, because I know how YouTube compression is, I'm gonna over-exaggerate the effect just a bit so you can hear really what it does. Let me over-exaggerate it a bit. Let's play the song with it off, then I'm gonna bring it back. Lang Pumakan, life is bittersweet. Lang Pumakan, support is just a dream, but we stay living, chasing after cream. I'm talking plotting schemes, chasing after this, yeah. Lang Pumakan, life is bittersweet. Lang Pumakan, support is just a dream, but we stay living, chasing after cream. I'm talking plotting schemes. Come on. What more do you want? What do you want? Okay, so now the last channel send that I'm adding here is a slap delay. Listen to this. Lang Pumakan, life is bittersweet. Lang Pumakan, support is just a dream, but we. Now again, like the room reverb with the slap delay, unless it's the desired effect, for the most part, the slap delay is something that you don't really wanna hear. You don't really want it fighting for attention in the song. You don't really want to hear it much. You just want it tucked in the mix, sort of like giving you a vibe that you feel and not necessarily. Yeah. Okay? Right. Let's pull it back. Then let's play the song. Lang Pumakan, life is bittersweet. Lang Pumakan, support is just a dream, but we stay living, chasing after cream. I'm talking plotting schemes, chasing after this, yeah. Lang Pumakan, life is bittersweet. Lang Pumakan, support is just a dream, but we. Ooh. I'm using a H910 dual harmonizer here, but you can use any delay really to set this up. Now these are the settings. You can copy them. You can use any delay and just try to make sure you keep your delay time roughly around 80 to 110 milliseconds. Keep it around there. Then make sure that as far as the feedback, you pull it as slow as possible, maybe just a tad bit on, and you're good. So to make sure I don't muddy the mix, I also have an EQ before the delay. Again, I'm cutting out the bass, sort of like the low mids and the bass I'm cutting out, and I'm also cutting the treble or the high end I'm taking out, just so I can have only the meat and the body of the vocal being bounced back, right? The low to high mids, basically. That's all I'm having. Now, that's pretty much everything. I'm gonna play the song again one more time. I hope, because I know the video was, well, necessarily long, I hope that it wasn't put to waste and me explaining it in the longest ways I could got to you to where you understood some of the methods. I am out. Lang Pumakan, life is bittersweet. Lang Pumakan, support is just a dream, but we stay living, chasing after cream. I'm talking plotting schemes, chasing after this, yeah. Lang Pumakan, life is bittersweet. Lang Pumakan, support is just a dream, but we stay living, chasing after cream. I'm talking plotting schemes, chasing after